Hello everybody and welcome back to Dad Got This. Today we're back in the kitchen because it's crappy outside and I'm cooking some food. I'm cooking some soul food. Dad may have absolutely no soul on the dance floor, but I got some soul in the kitchen. Let's cook. I'll admit it, I'm a hot mess on the dance floor. I kind of look like I just got tranked and I'm in the last stages of fighting it to go down, but hey, I have fun. One place I do have some soul is in the kitchen, and I can cook, and I can help you cook. So let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. I don't know why I'm rambling, but I'm rambling. I do that sometimes. I'm in a weird mood today, but I'm in the mood for some pork chops. Not just any old pork chops, some smothered pork chops, some gravy smothered pork chops. It is a classic Southern dish, and I just love it. And it's really easy to make. It only takes a couple of ingredients, so let's do that. Very little prep involved here. We need some white onion. This is half of a white onion because I cooked another dish before this and I'm batching some content together because why not? So I got some leftover white onion from another dish and we're gonna use it. My board's sliding around. I forgot to do my trick. Hold on. If your cutting board is ever sliding around on you, being annoying, go ahead and grab yourself a paper towel. Get it a little wet. Chuck it down. Throw it underneath your cutting board. Push it down. You now have a stable cutting board. Our white onion, we are just going to slice it thinly. Today I'm using my knife that was given to me from Nakano. It's a great knife. I've been using it for quite a while. It's got a good feel in the hands. It cuts really well. It stayed nice and sharp. It is a handmade Japanese knife, and they are not that expensive for a handmade Japanese knife. I have a very expensive handmade Japanese knife, but this one's nice that you can use and not have to worry about. It's like a $1,000 knife that I have, that you have to worry about having a $1,000 knife. This is a really affordable way to get into a handmade Japanese knife. I will throw a link down in the description below. It is an affiliate link. It does help me out if you use it. I appreciate it, but you will end up with a really quality handmade Japanese knife. So we both win. And for this recipe, you're really just supposed to have thinly sliced onion, but I have a little bit of extra onion that I had kind of like almost kind of pre-diced, and I'm just gonna use this because it's just gonna kind of go into the gravy anyway, so why not? So we need onion, and gee, I wonder why I like this recipe. It has garlic. I don't know, 6, 8, whatever your preferred amount of garlic is, use that. I like a lot of garlic. I'm gonna use 8. And we are just going to give these a rough mince. I could do the fancy way where you cut across them and go into them, but I'm not worried about that today. I just want to get this done. Figure this is a soul food dish. I don't think they would be worried about perfect mincing, perfect. They're just cooking. It's kind of the way I was taught to cook. I was taught to cook by my Italian grandmother and my Italian mother. We just cooked. We didn't measure things. We didn't really, I had to force them to write down recipes for me because there were no recipes. It was, okay, let's cook a dish. Do this, do that, about this much. So it's really hard for me sometimes when I'm trying to show you guys a recipe that comes from my family because it's not the way I cook. I just, okay, put about that much in. That looks good. So to be precise, to give somebody else something to be able to recreate a recipe is tough for me sometimes. We got garlic, we got onion. I'm also clumsy. All right, I'll separate the garlic and the onion on the board here because they are going to get used at different points in the recipe. The last thing we have is some sad and wilty looking parsley. It's because it's from the other day. Sat in the fridge and doesn't look that great, but you know what? It's just for garnish. I don't really care that much about it. It will be fine. Once it gets chopped up here, it'll look fine. And that's really the majority of the prep. That's really all we have to chop or dice or do anything with. Now we gotta go get some pork chops and get ready to cook. Here we have some pork chops. You can do these bone in, bone out, thick, thin. Now, I like to do these a different way, a little bit than traditional. See how thick these are? They're gonna take a long time to cook in a pan. you're really never gonna get them cooked in a pan. What I like to do is pound them thin, almost like a cutlet. So you take yourself a little mallet. You can use a rolling pin, the back of a frying pan, whatever you got. And you just put them in a Ziploc bag. And get mad at it. Now you're saying, why didn't you just buy thinner pork chops? This does two things. The pounding tenderizes the meat mechanically, and it gets it to the thinness we want. So you're doing two things by doing the beating. Now, as you can see, my chop is now pan size. I can only do one chop at a time. It is time to preheat our pan. We are going to take a pan and we are going to put it over medium to medium high heat. We want to be able to golden brown this without burning it. It's going to go quick because it's thin now. In that pan, I threw about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil and about 2 tablespoons of good old-fashioned butter. We want to keep the heat low because we want to brown the butter but not burn the butter. We're going to want to season this with a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, and then in here I made myself a little mix of some granulated garlic, granulated onion, a little paprika, a little MSG, a little cayenne, just a little bit of something to give it a little bit of a soul food kick. And we're going to season this on both sides. All right, our pan is almost ready. Right here is about a half a cup of all-purpose flour. We're going to now just dredge this guy in this all-purpose flour. And like Taylor Swift would say, shake it off. Our pan has got some browning of the butter, and we are ready to go. Right there in the pan. We can kick the heat up a little bit, and we're gonna fry this till golden brown delicious. Now, if you're making more than one pork chop, you would go ahead and do this in batches till all of your pork chops are cooked. Do not get rid of this flour, we're gonna need it. I mean, look at that, that looks perfect. We'll let the other side get some color, and then we'll be ready to move on to the gravy. Okay, this bad boy is done, and it's just gonna hang out over here for a little bit. We're gonna lower this heat a little bit and throw in about 2 tablespoons more of butter and all our onions. Hit it with a pinch more of salt. We'll cook this for about 10 minutes until the onions start to soften. After the 10 minutes, the onions have caramelized and they've turned from that bittery onion taste to a sweet taste. They look awesome. It is time for the garlic. And the garlic's only gonna go for like 30 to 45 seconds, just till it starts to kind of smell like garlic. Now at this point we can go ahead and add in the flour that we had remaining from when we dredged our pork chops. And we're gonna cook this for, I don't know, a minute or two, just until it cooks down. The flour kind of starts to make a little bit of a roux. Try to make less of a mess than I did. Now we're gonna pour in a half a cup of chicken broth. Most of a half of a cup of chicken broth. I spilled some. And now 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. At this point, we're gonna do the dance between chicken broth and heavy cream to get it to a gravy consistency that you like. Do you like a thick gravy? Do you like a thin gravy? That's all up to you. I'm gonna do mine. Now, our pork chop is basically done, but if we had a much thicker pork chop, what you would do normally is you would go ahead and you just return it to the pan and you'd simmer it in this gravy for a few minutes, which is also gonna warm it back up because it's been getting a little colder out there, until it's all done. Now, if you're doing this for a lot of people, you're gonna need a bigger pan, but I just did it for me. This thing is just about done. Let's plate it up and give it a try. And there you have it, Southern style smothered pork chops. They look fantastic. I'm actually gonna take a little bit extra of my seasoning here, sprinkle it on here for a kick of extra flavor. Let's go ahead and cut it open, see how it looks. Ooh, nice and juicy looking on the inside. We'll take a little piece here from the middle. Ooh, that is really good, creamy. I love the seasoning in there. It's got like it's not spicy, no spice at all, but it's got like a really rich flavor, really intricate. Like you can definitely taste those different flavors in there. The onion flavor is really sweet, creamy gravy flavor. Get more of that gravy. Garlic really comes through because I used a lot of garlic. Let me get a piece with like just a big chunk of gravy. When you pound the pork out like that, it's very tender, delicious. That's just a wonderful dish. Really easy to make. You guys can make that. I've always wondered something about you folks watching my videos. Are you guys really good cooks and you're just looking for new recipes? Are you guys like beginner cooks and you're trying to learn the techniques of cooking? Let me know where you are in your like cooking level. Put it in the comments. I want to know. I want to know how to tailor these videos. Like, should I be do more beginner stuff? Should I be going for like advanced stuff? Let me know. Just interested to see where you guys are in your cooking adventures. This mess reminds me of something. Do you know where a pig goes to get their car cleaned? The hogwash. Yeah, that's terrible. All of the information on how to make this dish will be down below. It'll probably end up on DADGOTTHIS.com also. Information about getting one of these Nakano knives, if you're interested in it, will also be in the description down below. Tell very bad dad jokes. Still can't dance, but dad will never do an outro. So that's it. Bye.